Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tamara and we are discussing the Zodiac Academy books. Now in my part one of this video, I would have told you that I am quite immersed in the journey already. I'm currently waiting on book 7 to come out. Meaning to come in the mail. I ordered book 7, 8, 8.5, and 9 in the mail. And while I'm waiting for like the end of my days, I decided that there's too much knowledge in there. There's too much going on in my head that I need to talk about it. So we've made a little bit of a series where I overview some of the books that I have read. So pretty much everything up until book 7 with some novellas as well. And we'll talk in when we get to that stage as to where I read the novellas in the timeline. But for right now, we're going to be talking about the second book, maybe even the third if we maybe have some time, but we're going to aim for the second book. We just talked about the first one in part 1 of this video. We ran out of some time. So anyways, second book, my opinions. Second book is called Ruthless Fae. And let me just say that the title does it justice. In this book is when Darcy and Tori really, one, grow a little bit more into their abilities, their powers, their confidence, but two, they're more ruthless. They have, some sense of a backbone in this one, and they also seek out some revenge on the 4 heirs that really tormented them at the end of the first book. But that's not to say it started off that way. At the beginning of this book, they were very much adamant that this is not the world for me. I'd rather take my chances back in my shitty mortal world. Let's pack up and go. And one of the most satisfying things is the turn of events that really lets them stay, especially because Tori underwent like the brunt of some pretty traumatic stuff at the end of the book 1. And so when she decides to burn Darius's room down and essentially says karma's a bitch and her name is Tori Vega, I died inside. I was like, yes, I love how this book is starting off strong. We're going in pretty strong and I can't wait to see what they do in this book. So as I keep reading, what's also really cool is they get multiple POVs in this. You get the side of the heirs. So the 4 heirs, you get their perspective in this book too, which is really entertaining, not only because you get super satisfied by the revenge aspect from the Vegas, but also they're doing it in complete secrecy. So you get kind of like the dumbfoundedness of the heirs and like how they perceive these pranks, like how their reactions from their perspective and also from the Vega twins. And so it's really entertaining. Like it's obviously like they're badass, but like in this sense, the heirs are kind of funny in those ways too, at least to me, because I was like, oh, these suckers. Like if you really thought about it, everyone in this school is at their beck and call. Like these heirs, these kids are bowing down to these heirs. So if you really rule out who could possibly dare to do something untowarded, the Vegas are the obvious choice. So like it's kind of dumbfounding to me how they just don't figure it out, especially in this book. The pranks kind of play into the third book as well, but this is where they really kickstart, and you get a lot more character building in this as well. One, not just from the heirs, but also you get some side characters that join like the Vega posse. So we have Sophia, Diego, and we have Jerry. I'm calling her Jerry. Maybe her name's Gary. Her name is Geraldine, I don't quite know, but I think I briefly mentioned this in the first one that that character pissed me off. She pissed me off in the first book because here I am reading this, trying to understand what's going on in the world building. And then there's this girl who's just like so over the top, like obsessed with these Vegas, and they don't even know her. She doesn't know them. She literally is just undyingly loyal based on the premise of their name alone, which I think is so phony. And I was just kind of like, she doesn't even know them. Like, so now, and she also says the weirdest things, but now in this book, you kind of get the sense that they're slowly becoming friends, and she kind of gets to know them more for themselves instead of just their name. So she's become more tolerable in this book for me, and probably like this is the kickstart of a beautiful journey of comedy with this character as well in the books to come too. So you get the bigger scope of the Vega support system as well, and that they're not really all alone, and you really get the feel for that. You also kind of get a better understanding of the heirs in sense of their families, their backstory, Darius and his brother, Darius's family. And I don't know, you kind of like feel a little bit more for them, but also you kind of get the gist that some of them are somewhat regretting the rash revenge tactics they took at the end of book 1. Not all of them, but some you kind of get more of the humanity you're pulling out because you can get their POVs in this one. So I really enjoyed it for that reason too. You also kind of get more hints into their backstory, and forgive me if I am messing this up because this book and the third book I read so fast together because I just couldn't put them down. But there is a part in this with Max where he kind of indirectly gives Tori an inkling of like his traumas, and he's a siren, right? So he takes in people's emotions, but he inadvertently shares some scene with her while they're smooching in this like siren moment, and like he showed his vulnerabilities and then he asked her to keep it a secret. So at the end of the day, you get a bit of everything. And I know Max, because he doesn't really have much of like a tie to the Vegas besides this secret at this point. Like Seth's kind of interested in Darcy, but interested in also tormenting her. Both Caleb and Darius have like a thing for Tori, but don't know how to act about this thing for Tori. Caleb, for me, I honestly am a little bit surprised, but pleasantly surprised by how this is going, because Caleb in book 1, he's the one that bit Tori. He's the one that started this dominant thing right away as their first impressions of these heirs. And now he's the one that's rocking boots with Tori at the same time. So here I am reading this being like, I never would have guessed that that's where this was going to go. And also, I'm kind of into it. Like everything, like their playfulness with like this Friends with Benefits that's kind of starting up here. I'm in it. Like I'm totally in it. And even though I know Darius has to be endgame, like they're like really slow burning that, I enjoy the fun quirkiness of this Friends with Benefits situation. The one thing I will say though is that in this book, there is also a part where like, at least I think it was in this book. I may have got my everything mixed up a little bit, but there's a part where like, I applaud Tori. I told you in my first review, she is my favorite by far, but in this book specifically, she really goes into like, she's really blunt. So like when, you know, at one point they're knocking boots and like he's trying to be more affectionate. And I think that kind of plays in more to the third one. So I may have to take a pause on that, but what I'm trying to say is they kind of like, Caleb almost tries to be more than friends at one point, and she's pretty blunt, and she's like, Caleb, where is this going? And he's like, you know, it can't go anywhere because of politics. It just can't go anywhere. And she's like, KK, cool. Well, I'm not your girlfriend, so stop trying to make it out like I am and stop taking that precedence and everything too. So she's always been forthcoming and blunt, and I respect her for that because she's not leading this guy on, even though like her eyes could be on Darius at sometimes. Like she owes him nothing, meaning Caleb or Darius in this situation. So love Tori for this, and I'm really into this. End of this book, there was a big scene where Tori kind of saves Darius. Like they're in this big battle, and I'll be honest, this big battle thing, it was eventful. I was very much in it. But then there's me thinking about how like their parents were there, like the heirs' parents were there, and they really didn't shine on any fact that these parents were also fighting in this fight when the nymphs came. It reminded me of Harry Potter when like the Battle of Hogwarts happened, and the only parents that came to help were the Weasleys in terms of Molly and everybody. And I'm like, where are the parents of these kids? Like, clearly they're in danger and no one's helping besides the children and like the Order and then Molly. And I don't know, it like kind of pissed me off a little bit. But in this book, it's kind of similar. Like the heirs are fighting, the students are fighting, the teachers are fighting, but it doesn't really allude to Lionel or like any of those other heirs' parents fighting. So I was like, KK, cool, leave it to the children. It's fine, it's fine. But like I said, there's a part where Darius is really struggling and Tori and him fight side by side, and Tori kind of inadvertently saves Darius as well. And they have this intimate moment where they're really like looking at each other and like feeling the vulnerability, and like he can look at her and say like, you know what, she is a threat, but there's something there. And I don't know, like it was beautiful. To be honest, that was my favorite part of this book, is like that acknowledgement. And I loved it. I loved it. And another thing I want to mention is obviously Darcy and Lance are a brewing romance in this one as well. And it really starts to come forward. I'll be honest, like as much as that forbidden romance is like, you know, it's super hot and like I love them together based off their kind of characters, I think I'm way more into Darius and Tori's build-up, and that's just because at the end of the day, you like Lance and Darcy, like they're forthright about their feelings. Like they're not hiding their feelings to each other really. Like they're kind of teasing around it, but like allowing themselves to feel it. Darius and Tori are the complete opposite. Like you have to earn their affection. Like you have like, they're too stubborn. They're too difficult. They don't want to admit things. And I feel like their relationship is more triumphant to me when it finally happens, because you got it bit by bit. But Darcy and Lance, as much as they're forbidden, they're also very much in tune with their feelings. So it's sweet, like it's nice to see, but I'm not getting like the from it the same way I would from a satisfied slow burn, which is going to most likely be Tori and Darius, let's be honest. So I think they're cute. I think they're, you know, it's entertaining just the same. But yeah, so this book gave it a 4 out of 5. Really enjoyed it, and I said we're going to do book 3 in one video, but let's be honest, we're going to keep these videos to 10-minute stops. So I will catch you again for book 3, and we'll go through it together. Thanks so much. Bye for now.